My name's Robert Taylor. I'm running for Village of Lisle Trustee. This is my wife, Marcy Taylor. I'm a 40-year resident of Lisle. I'm a graduate of Lisle High School, of Benedictine University. I'm an officer of the Colin Alley Foundation. And I'm running for board because I see some changes that we need to have in town. One of the changes is the reason why I chose this corner. If you see this corner, we're at Center and School and Spencer. Years ago, the village board put down a proposal for this spot to be a 47 unit townhome community. They said it needed retail space underneath it. That to me is silly. We have a downtown right now that has vacant spots in it. We have Burlington Avenue that's vacant. We need to occupy those spaces first before we start turning away development that makes sense for our town.
Now, Rob, what would you say are the two largest issues facing our town?
The two largest issues, and I believe every person running is going to say the same thing, the two largest issues are watershed for especially the East Branch DuPage, and economic development. And obviously coming out of COVID, we're going to see some changes that need to be made with revenue streams that need to be opened up. One of the things that I think a lot of the taxpayers care about, and it's being thrown around a lot, is that there has been a tax levy freeze for the village. And that sounds really great. But I think what the citizens need to see is that we have, one, this year's budget is $1.25 million overspent. And two, in the past few years, we've been cutting village personnel, and the tax burden for the general fund through property taxes has actually gone up 8%. So we need to turn those around. We need to have people that are open-minded, who are thinking about new revenue streams, who are open to new ideas. The current administration's not.
Our village has so many commissions and boards. How can you help assure that there's transparency, that we're working together?
Well, one of the things that's important right now is right at this moment, the Planning and Zoning Board has opened their books to a rewrite. One of the things they haven't considered was doing a disparity study. And I think that's very important because we're on the heels of one of our neighborhoods in the community getting de-annexed. And the reason for that is quite interesting. We have a community that was unable to transition from apartments to condos easily, and a lot of that had to do with meeting different codes that would change as they went to condos. So years go by, and now there is a lawsuit about discrimination that made the village board say, hey, it's just easier to de-annex you. Now, through that de-annexation, we've also had families that maybe are renting in this community where we let the landlords who don't necessarily live in Lisle vote to de-annex part of our town. So now we have families that are no longer receiving the police services, the streets and sewer services that they would normally receive through the village. It's taken away from them. They didn't ask for this. That's a problem. I think we need to codify some rules across all boards where we look into creating a set of disparity guidelines so that we're equal across the board.
How would you improve the vitality of the Lisle downtown to encourage businesses?
Well, this has been a tough year for downtown, clearly. COVID's been tough. Obviously, restaurants have been trying to hang on. And I think that there's been some revenue streams that Lisle has turned away from. They need to open their eyes and say, hey, we need to be open for business. We need to be open for some change. And you need to have creative thinkers like me who are going to come in and say, hey, let's talk it out, let's figure it out, and let's move forward. Let's do the next best thing.
Rob, would you share the qualifications that you bring to this position and how you can assist in Lisle's growth?
Sure. In my 25 years as an educator, I got to wear many hats. I'm an internationally published researcher. I presented nationally. I'm a Golden Apple Fellow. I'm a National Board Certified Teacher. I teach leadership skills to Golden Apple scholars. And I'm an officer of the Carlin Alley Foundation, which has been one of the most successful nonprofits of its type in the state. I wish to bring that type of effort to the village. And funny enough, here we are at Family Square. This is actually one of the things that probably 90% of the people I've talked to have mentioned. They're like, what's happening with this? Well, what's happening with this is nothing right now. What's happening is this is a privately owned piece of property, and we need to be creative with the owners. It's a bank-owned piece of property. We need to be creative in how we're going to move forward with this. You know, it'd be nice. People always say, hey, it would be nice to have a big retail space here. It's probably not going to happen, because the developers that I've talked to, and I've talked to people who have owned that property there, they own the property up the road, another developer owned down on Main Street, and they said the biggest problem we're having is that we have problems with the people that say no in our village. You got to say yes. You got to say, hey, how can I help you start up? Not shut you down right from the beginning. So with this piece of property, I think we're going to have to get creative. We're going to have to get a lot of people at the table that are willing to compromise and be open for business.
And do you have a final statement you'd like to share with us?
Well, the final statement for me would be that I've always put my best effort into doing the things I care about. And I care about this village a great deal. And I guarantee you I'll do the next best thing for us.